Sit still. Just 5 minutes. That's all it takes to begin changing the wiring of your mind. 5 minutes to stop running from yourself. 5 minutes to stop chasing the next thing. 5 minutes to return to the only place where life is ever, lived right here, right now. Because in today's world, stillness is an act of rebellion. While everyone else scrambles for dopamine hits, for likes, for validation, for the next thing to stimulate their restless minds, you're about to do something most will never dare. Sit in complete silence. No phone, no screen, no scrolling. Just you and your breath. Why? Because power is built in the pause. The pause between one thought and the next, between one action and the next, between one breath and the next. The leaders of the future, the ones who will command the room, the ones who will build empires, the ones who will lead themselves, they are the ones who have mastered presence. And presence is trained in moments exactly like this. So sit, feet flat on the floor, spine tall, shoulders back, close your eyes and just breathe. Deep in through the nose. Hold. Slow out through the mouth. Let the exhale be longer than the inhale. Again, and again, and again. Every breath an act of defiance against a world that wants you addicted to motion. Every breath a vote for a life led by intention, not reaction. Here's the truth they don't tell you. The most disciplined people in the world aren't the ones who do the most. They're the ones who master the moments in between. The ones who know how to return to zero, to presence, to power. Because when you can be still, you can do anything. You can face discomfort, you can hold tension. You can choose your response when others are losing their minds. You can navigate the storms of life with a calm center. And that calm, that's not a soft skill. That's a weapon. A weapon most will never develop because they're too busy, chasing stimulation to sit with themselves. But not you. Not today. Today you train it. You build it. 1 breath at a time, 1 minute at a time, 1 5-minute discipline at a time. Because the nervous system you're training right now is the nervous system you will bring into your biggest moments. Into the negotiation room. Into the boardroom. Onto the stage. Into the hard conversations. Into the challenges that will define your life. The breath you're mastering now will be your anchor when life throws its punches, so master it. Right here, right now. Return to it, again, and again, and again. Because this is how leaders are forged, not in the spotlight, not in the applause, but in moments exactly like this. Alone, silent, focused, building the inner strength no one can see, but everyone will feel. And when you've done this, when you've trained your mind to be still, you'll bring a different energy into everything you touch. You'll be the one who walks into the room grounded, centered, calm when others are chaotic, clear when others are reactive, present when others are distracted. And that is presence, that is leadership, that is power, and it's built right here, right now, in these 5 minutes of discipline. So breathe deeper, slower, train it, own it. And when the world tries to pull you out of yourself, when the noise comes roaring back, you'll remember this place, this breath, this power, and you'll return to it again and again and again. Because the ones who can master their breath can master their state. And the ones who can master their state can master their life. 5 minutes, 1% stronger, 1 breath at a time. Let's begin. Now feel the space you're creating with every exhale. That space is where your best thinking happens. That space is where wisdom emerges. It's where clarity lives. The world will try to convince you to fill every gap, every second, with input, with noise. But your edge will come from the opposite, from learning to live in the space between, from learning to sit in the discomfort of stillness long enough for a deeper knowing to emerge. This is not passive. This is active training. You're not just calming your mind, you're forging mental toughness. You're building emotional resilience. You're programming yourself to respond, not react. And that's a superpower. Because when you can remain centered under pressure, when you can keep your breath steady when stakes are high, you'll lead from a place others can't even access. You'll be trusted. You'll be respected. Because presence is magnetic. People feel it. They sense it. and they will follow it. But it's not given. It's earned right here, in the quiet, in the discipline of returning to breath when the mind wanders, in the practice of being fully here, now, so keep going. Another inhale, another exhale. You're doing what most won't. You're building what most lack. And it will show, not in what you say, but in how you carry yourself, in your tone, in your eyes, in your energy. Because when you own your state, you own the room, and it all begins with this breath. Now understand this. The breath is not just a tool for calm, it is the foundation of power. The more control you have over your breath, the more control you have over your state. The more control you have over your state, the more control you have over the outcomes you create in life. Because the world will not get less chaotic. The demands will not get lighter. The competition will not get slower. The only way you win is by mastering yourself first. And that mastery begins with this breath. Train yourself to breathe through resistance, to breathe through discomfort, to breathe through fear. Because in the hardest moments of life, the negotiations, the losses, the uncertainty, your ability to return to breath will be the difference between reacting from survival and responding from strength. Every time you anchor into your breath, you are teaching your nervous system, I am safe, I am grounded, I am capable, and that identity compounds. Picture the leader you want to become, the version of you who walks into any room with composure, who speaks with certainty, who holds eye contact with unwavering presence. That leader is built one breath at a time, right here. The discipline to sit still is the discipline to remain composed when it matters most. The discipline to breathe through resistance is the discipline to persist through adversity. Breath work is not a soft practice. It is one of the most aggressive forms of self-mastery you can develop. Because when you own your breath, you own your energy. And when you own your energy, you own the room. And here's what most don't understand. The person who can sit with themselves without distraction is dangerous. Because they are no longer owned by the world. They are no longer run by stimulus. They do not seek validation. They do not chase approval. They command from within. That is rare. That is magnetic. And that is why you are training this, not just for 5 minutes today, but for life. Understand this truth. Calm is not weakness. Calm is command. In a world addicted to noise and speed, the ability to access deep calm under pressure is what separates the amateurs from the masters. When everyone else is reacting, chasing, spinning out, you will move from centered clarity. That clarity is forged right here, in stillness, through breath. The breath is your manual override. When your heart rate spikes, when cortisol floods your system, when the room heats up, return to breath. Inhale steady. Exhale slower. You are signaling to your body, I am safe. I am in control. And in doing so, you override the primal impulse. To panic, to lash out, to collapse. This is how leaders are built. Not by controlling the world, but by mastering the one domain they always have access to, their own internal state. Master this now, and you will carry an unshakable edge into every domain of life, into your relationships, into your negotiations, into your health, into your highest pursuits. Because breath mastery is state mastery, and state mastery is life mastery. Most will never build it, because most cannot sit in stillness. But you can, and you will. 5 minutes a day, one breath at a time, until calm becomes your default. Until presence becomes your baseline. Until leadership flows from your core, not as an act, but as your very being. Now listen, discipline does not begin in action. It begins in attention. If you cannot discipline your attention, no amount of action will make you powerful. Attention is the first battlefield. The breath is your weapon. When your mind starts to drift, to the past, to the future, to distractions, return to the breath. Again and again and again. You are teaching your mind, I decide where attention goes. Why does this matter? Because life is a game of focus. The world is full of people moving fast but without clarity, without focus, without presence. They are busy, but not effective. Noisy, but not powerful. The ones who win are those who can hold unwavering focus on what matters. The breath is your training ground for that focus. When you can hold your attention on breath for 5 minutes, you are building the muscle required to hold attention on your vision for 5 years. Do not underestimate this practice. Breath control is attention control. Attention control is life control. The average person cannot hold a single thought without distraction for 30 seconds. You are becoming the exception, the outlier, the one who can sit in the eye of the storm, calm, clear, composed, because you have trained your mind where to live, here, now, in this breath. This is discipline, this is power. Build it. There will be moments when life will shake you. Moments when emotions will rise fast, anger, fear, sadness, frustration. In those moments, most people become victims of their state. They react, they lash out, they regret. But not you. Why? Because you are building the habit, right now, of returning to breath, of anchoring into presence before you act. This is how emotional mastery is built. Not by denying emotions, but by mastering the space between feeling and action. And that space, that sacred space, is expanded through breath. Each time you feel a surge of emotion, practice this. Pause. Inhale deeply. Hold. Exhale slowly. You are training yourself to respond from leadership, not reaction. From intention, not impulse. Over time, this becomes your new normal. Where others spiral, you stay centered. Where others explode, you speak with power. Where others shrink, you expand. This is leadership at the highest level, built not in grand moments, but in these small daily disciplines, in 5 minutes of breath, in 5 minutes of presence. This is the edge. This is what will make you unstoppable in life. Own it. Now let's go deeper. Breath is not just for calming, it is for awakening. Most people move through life half asleep, not present, not aware, not alive to the fullness of each moment. They are trapped in thought, lost in memory, caught in worry. But when you train breath, you awaken presence, and presence is life. Presence is where joy lives, where love lives, where power lives. You will never find those states in the past. You will never find them in the future. Only here, only now, only in this breath. That is why we train it. Not just to handle stress, but to fully experience life, to taste it, to feel it, to be immersed in it. And presence gives you another gift: precision. When you are present, your decisions sharpen, your words land deeper, your intuition speaks louder. You sense things others miss. Energy in the room, opportunities between the lines, subtle shifts in dynamics. This is not a gift of the few, it is a skill of the trained. And you are training it now. The deeper you breathe, the more awake you become. The more you feel your body, fully alive, fully grounded. The more you hear the inner signals you've been ignoring, the more you trust yourself. Because this practice reconnects you to the one voice that matters most, your own. And let's be clear, the path you've chosen, the path of growth, will challenge you. It will demand more of you than you thought you had. And when that happens, it is this breath that will carry you through. The discipline you build here will be the anchor in storms, the foundation under pressure, the edge that separates you from the average. Because breath is not just for meditation, it is for performance, it is for leadership, it is for resilience. The athletes who win at the highest level train their breath. The entrepreneurs who scale empires train their breath. The warriors who lead in chaos train their breath. Why? Because breath is state, and state is everything. So do not treat this lightly. Do not dismiss 5 minutes as small. 5 minutes of breath training is 5 minutes of wiring your brain for power. 5 minutes of sculpting your nervous system for strength. 5 minutes of teaching yourself that you are not a slave to circumstance. You are the creator of your state. And when 5 minutes becomes 10, and 10 becomes 20, and breath mastery becomes your baseline, you will become the one others look to when the world is spinning. The one who speaks from stillness, the one who leads from presence, the one who cannot be shaken because they have mastered the first and hardest battlefield, themselves. Breathe. Deep. Now. Again. This is where you become that leader, one breath at a time. Now remember this. Your breath is not only for moments of silence. It is your access point to power at any time, in the boardroom, on stage, in hard conversations. When adversity hits, when opportunities arise. In those moments, the one who owns their breath owns the moment. This is not theory, it is biology. Breath is the remote control to your nervous system. Fast, shallow breath triggers fight or flight. Deep, slow breath activates rest and recovery. In the space of 3 deep breaths, you can shift from chaos to clarity, from anxiety to calm, from scattered to sharp. That is mastery, but it must be trained, here, now, 5 minutes a day, again and again. Because under pressure, you will not rise to your intentions. You will fall to your level of training. And if you have not trained breath, if you have not built presence, you will react, you will spin out, you will miss the moment. But when you train this, truly train it, you become dangerous. Because you no longer give your power away to circumstance. You no longer outsource your state to the world around you. You carry your center within. Others will feel it, even if they cannot name it. They will feel the weight of your presence, the depth of your calm, the force of your composure. And that force compounds. Because when you own your state, you own your time. You own your decisions. You own your life. Most people live in reaction. You're pulled by every message, every demand, every emotion. But the one who breathes through life, they live in creation. They choose what to give attention to. They move with intention. They act from clarity. And this breathwork, this 5-minute practice, is the sharpening stone. Every day you sit, every day you breathe with discipline, you are sharpening your edge. You are training the warrior within. The part of you that will walk into storms with calm, into chaos with focus, into challenge with quiet certainty. And here's what's even more powerful. This mastery ripples into every domain of life. Your relationships. When you can breathe through conflict, you lead with love instead of reactivity. Your work. When you can breathe through stress, you perform with clarity instead of panic. Your health. When you can breathe through discomfort, you transcend limits. Your growth. When you can breathe through fear, you move forward when others freeze. This is not about breath. This is about freedom. Because the one who can master their breath can master their fear. And the one who can master fear masters life. So breathe now, not passively, but with purpose. Deep in, deep out. Feel the shift, feel the power building. You are wiring a new baseline. And every time you return to this breath, you strengthen it. You are not just sitting here breathing. You are reprogramming your nervous system. You are reclaiming your state. You are building leadership in its purest form. The ability to lead yourself first. Because until you can lead your own mind, your own body, your own breath, you will not lead anything else with true power. But you are changing that. Right now, one breath at a time. And soon, this will not be a 5-minute practice. It will be how you live, how you walk into every room, how you face every challenge, calm, present, powerful. Because when the breath leads, life follows. Breathe. And understand this. Breath is not just a private practice. It is a public advantage. When others walk into a room tense, shallow breathing, nervous system hijacked, you will walk in grounded, composed, leading energy. Because energy does not lie. The one who breathes well, lives well. The one who breathes with mastery, leads with mastery. This is why elite performers, athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, leaders, train breath. Because under pressure, when it counts most, your breath will either betray you or serve you. And when it serves you, you will act from power, not panic. But you must earn this. You cannot fake breath mastery. It is trained, here, now. In the quiet discipline of returning to breath when your mind wants to run, when your body wants to fidget, when discomfort arises, sit through it, breathe through it, train yourself to stay. Because if you can stay here, in stillness, with full presence, you can stay present anywhere. Under pressure, under fire, under the weight of responsibility. That is leadership. That is rare. And this practice ripples beyond you. The calmer you become, the calmer others become around you. The deeper you breathe, the deeper others will breathe around you. Leadership is not taught, it is transmitted. Energy leads energy. When you embody breath mastery, you create a field of calm leadership that others will feel and follow. That is influence, and influence begins here, with you. With this breath, not with titles, not with words, with presence. Breath is presence embodied, and presence is the currency of leadership. The more you build it, the more trust you create. The more trust you create, the more impact you make. And breath mastery has another gift: clarity under chaos. The moment you feel stress rising, emotions building, breath shallowing, return. Deep breath in, hold, long breath out. In those moments, you are training the warrior within. You are building the habit of returning to power, not being pulled into reactivity. The more you do this, the faster you shift state. The faster you shift state, the more flexible you become. Flexibility under pressure is the hallmark of elite performers. It is why they can navigate complexity while others fold. Why they can stay creative under constraint. Why they can see opportunity in the midst of uncertainty. Breath is the bridge between chaos and clarity, between tension and flow, between reaction and response, between fear and leadership. The more you walk that bridge, the more it becomes your path. Until breath mastery is no longer something you do. It is who you are. And from this place, everything changes. Conversations shift. Decisions sharpen. Relationships deepen. Impact expands. Because you are no longer leaking energy in reaction, you are channeling it in creation. So breathe now. Not as a practice. As a way of being, deep in, deep out, presence in, presence out. Let this be your new normal. The state you return to, not just in 5 minutes of practice, but in life. Because this is mastery, and you are building it. One breath at a time. Now take this further. Breath is not just for the moments you plan, it is for the moments that surprise you. The phone call you didn't expect. The news that shakes you. The opportunity that arrives fast. In those moments, you will not have time to think. You will only have time to breathe. And the way you have trained your breath, that is how you will show up. Most people default to survival. Shallow breath, tight chest, scattered focus. But not you. You are building a new default. Deep breath, open chest, sharp focus. This is not just about feeling better. It is about performing better. Decision-making improves with breath. Communication improves with breath. Creativity improves with breath. Leadership improves with breath. Breath is the invisible force behind visible excellence. And as you build this, you will begin to notice life will meet you at the level of your presence. The more present you become, the more you see. The more you hear, the more you feel. Opportunities that others miss, you will catch. Nuances in conversation that others gloss over, you will grasp. Signals from your own intuition that others ignore, you will trust. Because breath unlocks awareness. Awareness unlocks choice. Choice unlocks power. And power is what you are here to build. So use this practice strategically. Before important meetings, breathe. Before hard conversations, breathe. Before stepping on stage, breathe. Before making key decisions, breathe. In every transition moment of life, pause and breathe. Reset your state. Reclaim your power, then move. This is how elite operators function. They do not rush blindly from task to task. They reset state between tasks. They breathe into presence before action. They enter each moment fresh, clear, powerful. And that is why they perform at a level others cannot touch. You are building that same edge, right here, in this breath, in this moment. And soon, it will compound. 5 minutes a day becomes 10. 10 becomes your new baseline. Until breath mastery is not a practice you visit. It is the state you live in, and the impact of that is exponential. Because when breath leads, you are no longer triggered by the small things. You are no longer pulled by the urgent things. You are guided by the important things. You move from reaction to creation, from noise to signal, from scattered to sharp. This is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters with full presence and power. And it begins here, in this breath. Right now, breathe deeper. Hold longer. Exhale slower. Feel the shift. This is where your true strength lives, and you are unlocking it, one breath at a time. And know this, your breath is not just a personal tool. It is a professional advantage. In high-stakes environments, the person who controls their breath controls the room. Think of the negotiator who speaks calmly when tension is high. The athlete who slows the game down in their mind under pressure. The leader who communicates from centered clarity in a crisis. They all have one thing in common: breath mastery. Because when you control your breath, you control your nervous system. And when you control your nervous system, you control your mind. And when you control your mind, you control outcomes. That is why breath is the foundation of elite performance. But most will never build it, because most will never train it. They will chase hacks and tactics and tools, ignoring the one skill that changes everything: state mastery. And state is breath. No breath, no state, no power. You are not making that mistake. You are building this from the ground up. Breath first, state second, performance third. And that is why you will rise higher, faster, and with more sustainability than those who ignore this path. And the deeper you go, the more you will discover. Breath connects more than body and mind. It connects to purpose. Because in the space between breaths, when the mind quiets, purpose speaks. Vision sharpens, values clarify. You hear the whispers of who you are meant to be, beyond the noise, beyond the programming, beyond the expectations of others. This is why breath practice is sacred. It is not just self-regulation, it is self-revelation. It is where you remember your truth, where you reconnect to your why, where you realign with your highest self. And the more you return here, the stronger that alignment becomes, until your actions flow from truth, not trend, from vision, not reaction, from wisdom, not noise. And that is the power that breath mastery builds, the ability to live from the inside out, not the outside in. The world will try to shape you from the outside, through comparison, through pressure, through fear. But when you breathe deep into your center, you anchor into your own being. You move from that place, you lead from that place, you build from that place, and no one can take that from you. Because it is trained, it is owned, it is embodied. So keep building, keep returning. Each breath is a brick in the foundation of your next level. Each moment of presence is a deposit into the power you will bring to your future. This is the long game, the leadership game, the game few play, but the game you are mastering. One breath at a time. Breathe. Deeper, slower, stronger. This is your edge. Build it. And here's a deeper truth. As your breath mastery grows, your capacity for leadership expands. Because leadership is not about title or authority. It is about energy, and energy is breath. The person who breathes with presence leads with presence. The person who breathes with composure communicates with clarity. The person who breathes through fear acts with courage. Breath mastery makes you the thermostat in the room, not the thermometer. The thermometer reacts to the temperature of the room. The thermostat sets it. That is what you are training here. The ability to walk into any environment and set the tone, set the energy, set the standard. Not through force, not through words. Through breath, through presence. And this presence is what people crave. In a world of noise and distraction, true presence is rare. When you can give it, you become magnetic. In conversations, in leadership, in relationships, in impact. People will remember how they felt around you. And breath mastery ensures they feel grounded, seen, inspired. But the discipline must be built daily. 5 minutes a day is not trivial. It is transformational. Because what you do in 5 minutes of breath translates into how you show up in the 23 hours and 55 minutes that follow. You are not practicing for practice. You are practicing for life, for leadership, for legacy, and there is more. The nervous system you are rewiring through breath impacts every layer of your health and performance. Heart rate variability. A key marker of resilience improves with breath. Immune function strengthens, recovery accelerates, sleep deepens, mental clarity sharpens, emotional stability grows. You are building not just mental power, but physiological resilience. You are turning your body and mind into a high-performance instrument, tuned through breath. And this advantage compounds over time. Where others wear down under stress, you adapt. Where others burn out, you sustain. Where others react emotionally, you lead strategically. Because breath mastery gives you choice. The choice to remain calm when provoked. The choice to stay focused when distracted. The choice to hold vision when discouraged. The choice to lead when others follow fear. And this choice becomes identity. The more you choose breath over reactivity, the more you become the leader who leads from calm, clarity, and courage. Until it is no longer something you do, it is who you are, and from that place, life opens. Opportunities expand, relationships deepen, impact multiplies. Because the world follows those who lead themselves first, and you are becoming one of them. One breath at a time. So breathe now, not as an exercise, but as an embodiment. Inhale power, exhale presence, train it, live it, lead from it. This is your edge, and it is only just beginning. And understand this, mastery is not built in moments of ease. It is built in moments of resistance. There will be days when your mind resists this practice, days when sitting still feels impossible, when breath feels shallow, when the noise inside seems louder than the calm you seek. These are not setbacks. They are signals. Signals that growth is happening, that old patterns are being disrupted, that new wiring is being forged. Do not flee from these moments. Lean into them. Breathe through them. Each time you return to breath when your mind rebels, you strengthen the muscle of mastery. You teach yourself, I am not the thoughts, I am not the feelings, I am the awareness that can choose where to place attention. That is freedom. And the more you build this freedom, the more you expand your capacity. Capacity to lead, capacity to create, capacity to love, capacity to endure. Because capacity is not given, it is built through breath, through discipline, through sitting in the fire of your own mind and choosing not to be consumed by it. And this is the deeper gift of breath mastery, emotional sovereignty. In a reactive world, the person who can remain sovereign in their emotional state holds a rare and powerful advantage. They are unshakable, they are trustworthy, they are magnetic. And this sovereignty scales. From personal life to professional life, from inner circles to global stages. The leader who leads their breath leads their energy. The leader who leads their energy leads the room. The leader who leads the room leads movements, but all of that begins here, in the simplicity of this breath, in the humility of this practice, in the willingness to return to center again and again, no matter how many times the mind wanders. And this practice is infinite. There is no ceiling to breath mastery. The deeper you go, the more subtle the benefits become, but also the more profound. You begin to sense energy more acutely. You begin to access flow states more readily. You begin to connect to intuition more clearly. You begin to embody leadership more effortlessly. And as this embodiment deepens, leadership becomes less about what you do and more about who you are. You become the breath you have trained, calm, grounded, expansive. And from that state, your actions flow with greater impact. Your words land with greater weight. Your presence influences with greater depth. This is the edge few will build, but you are building it. One breath at a time. One moment at a time. One disciplined return to presence at a time. So breathe now. Not because you must, but because you can. Because it is who you are choosing to be, the one who leads from breath. The one who lives from presence. The one who breathes power into everything they touch. And here's something even deeper. Breath mastery reshapes identity. Each time you sit in stillness, each time you breathe through resistance, you are casting a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. Not someone who is reactive, not someone ruled by circumstance, but someone who is sovereign in their state, anchored in their power, grounded in their presence. And this identity compounds. The more you embody it, the more life reflects it back to you. Opportunities begin to flow your way because people trust presence. People follow presence. People are drawn to the energy of someone who is not frantic, not scattered, but calm, clear, and deeply rooted. And this identity becomes armor. Not the kind that blocks connection, but the kind that shields you from being pulled into chaos. When criticism comes, you breathe. When setbacks happen, you breathe. When uncertainty rises, you breathe. And through that breath, you choose your response. You hold your center. You stay aligned with your vision, your values, your purpose, because that is true leadership, alignment under adversity. And breath is the bridge that gets you there. Without it, you will be at the mercy of every external wave. With it, you become the unmoved mover, the one who can create waves rather than be consumed by them. And breath mastery also deepens connection. When you can breathe through discomfort, you can stay present in conversations most avoid. You can hold space for others. You can listen fully, you can speak truthfully, because you are not escaping the moment, you are inhabiting it fully. This makes your relationships richer, your leadership more trusted, your influence more authentic. Because presence is felt. It cannot be faked. It must be trained, and you are training it. And as this presence deepens, you begin to sense something even greater. A stillness beneath all doing, a calm beneath all motion, a groundedness that no circumstance can shake. This is the foundation from which true vision is built, from which bold action is taken, from which legacy is crafted, and the path there is simple, one breath at a time. One disciplined return to center at a time, not once, not sometimes, but as a way of being, as a baseline, as an identity. And soon this identity will shape how you move through life, how you enter rooms, how you lead teams, how you love deeply, how you serve powerfully, how you create art, how you build wealth, how you leave legacy. Because breath is not a side practice, it is the foundation of everything you will become. So breathe now, with intention, with reverence, with power. You are not just training breath, you are training the next version of you. And that version breathes leadership into every moment of life. And now, as you breathe this next breath, understand, you are no longer the same person who began this practice. You have trained presence, you have built composure, you have strengthened leadership from the inside out. And this power will walk with you into every room, every challenge, every opportunity. But remember this, mastery is not a finish line. It is a practice. And breath is your anchor for that practice. You will not always feel like sitting. You will not always want to return to presence. But the leader who does what is required, not just when it is easy, but especially when it is hard. That is the leader who rises. That is the leader you are becoming. And as you walk forward, let this breath guide you. Before you speak, breathe. Before you decide, breathe. Before you react, breathe. In this simple act lies extraordinary power. The power to lead yourself first, so that you can lead others well. The power to act from vision, not from fear. The power to stay grounded when the world tilts. You have trained this, you have earned this, now live it and know this. You are not alone on this path. Every day across this series, a tribe of 1% growth leaders is breathing with you. Building with you, leading with you. You are part of that tribe, and every breath you take with intention adds to that collective force. So breathe one more time, deep in, slow out. This is your edge. This is your anchor. This is your leadership. Own it now, voice and lead from breath.